How's it, punters? Welcome back to Best Sports Betting, and in this video I'm going to be giving my Premier League tips and predictions for this weekend of Premier League action. We're coming off an interesting international break. We saw quite a few English players in action, Harry Kane in particular scoring quite a few in those set of fixtures, and we're going to be chatting a bit about that when Tottenham take on Leeds. But let's start off with my first pick of the weekend. It's going to be both teams to score in the Newcastle versus Brentford game. Brentford have conceded 7 goals in their last 3 Premier League matches. They had a very good start to the season. I think that's starting to slip now. Newcastle coming in with a new manager. They need to tighten up the defense. I don't think they're going to get it right after the first game in charge. So I expect there are going to be a couple of goals in this one from both sides. Callum Wilson from Newcastle is looking pretty good at the moment as well. So he might be a good anytime goal scorer option. But my bet here is going to be both teams to score. That's where I'm going. It's Brentford, who have a pretty bad defense, against Newcastle, who also have one of the worst defensive records in the league. I think that's a pretty good price. Over 2.5 goals does appeal as well. However, I do think this game could end in a 1-1 draw, which is why I've just gone with both teams to score. Let's jump over to our next fixture, which is going to be Liverpool versus Arsenal. Now, these are two teams that are on very different trajectories. Liverpool starting to slip a bit, haven't looked as good as they looked a few weeks back. Arsenal, on the other hand, have been picking up some solid wins. They've been looking very good, slowly climbing up that table. I think they're about 3 points behind Liverpool on the table, believe it or not, after a very bad start to the season. And in this game, I do fancy over 2.5 goals here. I think this is going to be a fairly free-scoring game. Liverpool have an amazing attack. They're playing at home. I do fancy them for the win here. I think Liverpool might sneak this game, but the 1.49 is just not good enough for me for that. Even though the odds on over 2.5 isn't great, I still think that's probably the way to go. If you are looking at a more conservative bet, maybe go with Liverpool double chance or Liverpool draw on a bet, but the odds there just aren't great. So I'm going to go with over 2.5 goals in Liverpool versus Arsenal. The next one that I'm going to be taking a look at is the Spurs match. Spurs are taking on Leeds. Harry Kane has been looking in quite some form. It looks like he's found some form. I think he scored like 7 or 8 goals in the internationals. He scored a hat-trick of penalties. So if there's going to be a penalty in this game, you know Harry Kane's going to take it and he's probably going to score. But yeah, Spurs haven't had the best start to the season. They're still looking a bit suspect. Leeds on the other hand, or Leeds on the same page, I think. But Spurs do have the home advantage here. I think taking Spurs to win at 1.72 is a pretty good bet. I don't see them losing to Leeds. I do like the draw no bet here at 1.32 as well. That's what I'm going to go with my accumulator. I'm going with the safer option here, just because we are taking the accumulator. And there is the possibility that Spurs could fire another blank and struggle to score again. But I really do fancy them to beat Leeds. And if you guys are as confident as I am on that one, take the 1.72. It's a decent price. I don't think we'll be seeing that around too often. But I've gone with the draw no bet. What draw no bet means is that if the match ends in a draw, you'll get that leg of the accumulator will be voided. It won't kill your whole slip. And if you're taking it as a single bet, you'll get your money back if it ends in a draw. Unfortunately, the one caveat of a draw no bet is that cash out is not available on the accumulator. So if you were looking to cash out something like this, that's not going to happen if you have a draw no bet when you're betting over on Betway. Now, the last match that I want to take a look at is going to be the where are you? Here we go. It's going to be the Watford versus Man United game. Man United are looking pretty good this season. They're on the up. They've had a few stumbling blocks, but then they've come back nicely after those. You know, that big beating by Liverpool, obviously. But they're playing away to Watford. Watford's just not a great side, to be honest. I do fancy Man United for the win here. Once again, the draw no bet does look an option for an accumulator at 1.21, but I think those odds are just a little bit too low for my liking. So I'm going to go with the straight Man United win. They should get the business done against Watford. And we have 4 teams in our accumulator. We've got Newcastle versus Brentford, both teams to score. We've got Liverpool versus Arsenal, 1.5. We've got Spurs, draw no bet against Leeds United. And then, of course, we have Manchester United to beat Watford. We're getting a total of 5.27. And then with the Betway win boost of 3%, we're getting 5.39. So a 100 Rand bet on that one is going to return a pretty tasty 538 Rand. I think that's a good amount for an accumulator, something we can aim for in this video. So let's put that one through. There's the bet, the booking code. As I said, I will pop that in the comments below so you guys can copy it as well if you want to follow this bet. And I'll also pin it in the comments. So guys, thanks for tuning into this Premier League betting preview. Hopefully we pick up a winner, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good weekend of betting, guys. Cheers.